Path of Night, Brine and Blood is an actual play Hunter the Reckoning podcast set in the world of darkness. We're all friends. We're here to have fun, but our story can include graphic violence, drug use, sexual content, and other mature themes. Content warnings can be found in the show notes. We talk at our table about safety, comfort, and consent, both as players and storytellers. We know what to expect. We're all excited to be here, and we want you to feel the same. So listener discretion is advised. Now let's take back the night.
In this valley of dying stars, in this hollow valley, this broken jaw of our lost kingdoms, in this last of meeting places, we grope together and avoid speech, gathered on this beach of the tumid river, sightless unless the eyes reappear as the perpetual star, multifoliate rose of death's twilight kingdom, the hope only of empty men. Excerpt from The Hollow Men by T.S. Eliot. Last time on Brine and Blood. The Circle of Imbued parted ways with Mateo and ventured to Gary's home in Narragansett as part of a plan to kidnap and interrogate one of the individuals infected by the squid-like mutations of those connected to the conspiracy. At the darkened home, the group discovered Gary's girlfriend, Katie. Her uniform, beak-like teeth and unusual demeanor told them she was one of the infected, and the group restrained and questioned her. At first putting up a facade, Katie eventually revealed that Gary had taken a job with Hallahan Fishing just before the infection began, and Nat found a pitcher full of odd, organically infested water in the couple's fridge. Eventually, Katie revealed that each of the infected were connected to a vast, ancient mind deep in the ocean. While Nat tried to find a way to reach the human inside the monster, Pheia determined there was nothing more they could do. Todd slit the woman's throat to stop her from spreading the infection, and the hunters fled the crime scene. Even knowing that she'd been taken over, that she wasn't human anymore, it's hard to shake the feeling of listening to a woman be stabbed to death in her own home. With new information, exhausted and bloodied, the group of you leave what is essentially the scene of a crime and go your separate ways for the night. Todd. After having been forced to slit a helpless woman's throat, where do you go?
Todd's home is set up to be what defenders refer to as a stronghold. It has all sorts of little security measures that are added on. He's able to monitor the place. There's all these little add-ons that take place over time because ultimately defenders never really feel truly safe but are constantly in pursuit of it for themselves and others. And in this case, he would very much like to escape what's happened earlier in the day and how that's making him feel as a person, as a man. And he will make his way to his stronghold. He'll collect his dog. He'll take a bit of Tylenol, drink some beers, and check the wound to make sure it's healing correctly. And locking his doors, he'll spend the rest of his evening pretty much just drinking and drinking and drinking until he passes out. He'll keep the company of his dog, but he doesn't really want to interact with anyone else.
The benefit, if one could call it that, of drinking yourself into a drunken stupor is that you do not dream.
And he will do his very best to not dream.
And you sleep the night away until your alarm goes off the next morning because you need to get ready for school. And the last week before summer vacation starts. Dallas. After everything that happened, after the confrontation with whatever echoes spoke through the dead woman before she died, there's a creeping sense of being compromised, of being perceived. For the first time, honestly, since your nights on the hunt began. So where does Dallas go?
In the aftermath of the interrogation and the killing, what sense does Dallas have about what they've done? Does it feel like they've just murdered a person? Does the monstrous nature of whatever that was still linger, or does he feel like he's been duped somehow? Do the messengers even give him any clarity to that?
The messengers give no clarity. Logically, as much logic as there is in all of this, you know what happened, you know what spoke to you, you know what it was doing, you know what it would do if it was allowed to continue to live. It was spreading, it was hurting people. It's connected to something ancient and evil in the same way that
How
Klieg
was
is.
it hurting people?
That is the question that you keep asking yourself. When I say you know it was hurting people, what I mean is logically you know, you can see what these things are doing. What they claimed even might parallel what's happening to you in some ways. However, you probably can't shake, and that was a character choice for you, but it is likely difficult to shake the feeling emotionally in your gut that that was just a woman that was stabbed to death in her own home. You know it wasn't. You feel it was.
I mean, I was able to see that she was mutating in weird ways. Like her teeth were solid as a beak.
Yes. And she gave the same sense that Klieg and some of the others do. And even seemed to imply that she was connected to something ancient and malevolent, some sort of mind that just wants to bring all of humanity under its fold.
Well, the thing that spoke through her indicated that it wanted to take over all of humanity.
Yes.
Her herself, she seemed as though she was perfectly fine and happy to be in this new existence and was just terrified that we were in her home.
So she expressed.
So Dallas has been staying in seasonal worker housing on the Cape. Probably either subsidized partially by Endron, or at least very much known to Endron.
Everyone who stays there is connected to either Safe Home or Safe Haven or Endron in some way.
Yeah, so Dallas is not going to go back to that spot. He's just going to write off all his possessions there as a loss. If he needs something, he'll go in at some point later, but right now he's just going to avoid any of that housing. He's got a duffel with him that he's been taking along from the past couple of days. So he's got a lot of thinking to do about what the fuck, how he's going to navigate this scenario, because nothing about this feels good and he has no idea of where to go from here. On the rig, it seemed pretty clear. There were these corrupted half-squid men with tactical gear fighting sharks and not really caring about who got in the way. But this just brings up a whole bunch more problems. So he's going to head to one of those highway way station, like gas station kind of just rest areas. Maybe like post up in like the 24-hour food court. And he's just going to kind of stay there for the night. He'll like, grab a coffee from the fast food spot or the Dunkin' that they had, the little mini one they have inside the food court. He'll put his duffel and his stuff on a bench and go buy another pack of Morley Lights from the convenience store. And he's just going to kind of pull an overnighter, interacting with the merchants just enough so that no one kicks him out for just being a vagrant. But he's just going to kind of sleep in the bench. Just a few ill-gained hours of sleep here and there, but he's just going to kind of rough it out there as he contemplates what exactly he's doing.
As Dallas falls asleep in a public place, fitful and restless, but he is a very deep sleeper. And it's not until rush hour, kind of the next morning when everybody is coming in, that he is awoken with one of the security guards shaking him awake, telling him he's got to go.
Hey, I'm just waiting for a call from my friends, man. Hey, I'm gonna grab some breakfast and then I'll head out in a little bit.
Yeah, you may want to wash up in the bathroom.
Okay.
He looks at you kind of sympathetically, like, I can't let you stay here, but I know what it's like to be on hard times. So he turns away. Don't let me see you here in 20. And then kind of leaves you alone.
Dallas will go grab a bagel breakfast sandwich from the Dunkin'. Go stuff that away in his duffel. Go to the bathroom and kind of do like a little sink bird bath kind of deal. Change out his shirt. And then he'll move his kind of setup to one of the outside benches now that it's light out, and he'll kind of just post up there. Eat some of his sandwich, and then try and catch another hour or two of sleep.
Pheia, you and Nat had spoken in the car for a little bit after everything that happened, but when John drops you off, where does he drop you? Where is Pheia?
Pheia goes home. She has John drop her off a couple blocks from where she lives. She lives on the second floor unit of one of her co-workers' daughter's houses with reduced rent. Single bedroom, very small bathroom, very small kitchen. Not even really a stove or an oven, just a toaster oven. Very narrow fridge, window unit, AC, but electricity costs extra, so she doesn't run it very frequently. She goes up and finds that on the table there's whatever someone cooked in the open hearth kitchen that day, and a copy of the schedule for the following week. Glad for the distraction of normalcy, Pheia looks over the schedule and finds crestfallen that she's only on for 3 days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And she knows she should have expected this. She's missed a lot of work, and it's been for legitimate reasons for the very most part. But the job doesn't care. And that kind of brings her back to her current mindset as she kind of slumps into one of the mismatched chairs around the hand-me-down table. It's just that there's not a lot of people that do care. And she just was party to the killing of one of the few people in her life that does care. And she didn't even have the nerve to be the one to do it herself. And she lingers with the idea for a minute. The doubt that creeps in is, we should have been able to do something. And we couldn't. There was no remorse. She was going to keep converting people. This entity acting through her that we can't get to yet was going to keep converting people. She was going to go after Fanny and Bill and all of the other people that she does care about. And she was going to make them sick. And then when the day came where this greater puppet master was finally taken down, what would happen to them then? But Pheia, she can't shake the anger and the grief at how much this entity has taken. She knows how much Gary's going to hurt from this. If he will hurt at all. And then her thoughts fall to Gary, and is she going to have to kill Gary? Is she going to have to find some way to keep him from spreading this too? Maybe she doesn't have to kill him, and her mind starts racing with ideas for keeping him contained. Maybe she can just keep him tied up, but that'll just invite more of them to come to wherever she's keeping him, and they'll just release him. And then Pheia finds that she's just sitting there crying, feeling helpless and hopeless and angry at the messengers and angry at her job and angry that this job is never, ever going to be done. And angry for the fact that she's been chosen to do this insurmountable task. And after a few minutes, she takes a puff of her rescue inhaler because she's worked herself up to the point where her bronchioles are closing up, and goes to her kitchen and gets a sprig of eucalyptus that she keeps in her kitchen, takes it to the shower with her, and just tries to rinse off the day.
Nat, after talking with Pheia in the car, John drops her off down in Narragansett. And then where does Nat go?
Nat's got some work that she needs to catch up on. Projects, essays, but that's not all. After this night, after everything the group has gone through, it's not quite a quiet rage. It's more just the sort of thrumming energy that has to be contained somehow, has to be funneled into something made useful. Something has to give to make all of this more than what it is, just horror. So the part of her brain that's efficient kicks into gear, and she's got some phone calls that she needs to make. The first phone call that she'll make as she's driving home, a long car ride, a lot of time to sit and think, is to Andrea.
Hello?
Hi. This is just a check-in.
Who is this?
This is Nat.
Am I in danger? What's...
No, this is just a call to see if you need anything.
I need the world to make sense again.
I understand that.
I don't... Thank you for the check-in. And there's just silence on the other end of the line.
I'll do it again sometime, but there's never any pressure about it, okay?
Okay.
Stay safe, get some rest.
I'll try my best.
Bye.
And without saying goodbye, after a moment, she hangs up.
It takes Nat a little recovery time after that phone call. Reaching out, even though it feels like the right thing to do, it's one drop in too big a bucket. There's not enough right things to do to even out the balance of the world. So she takes some time, driving with the window open, trying to let the evening air just cool her brain down, cool down the situation. When she gets back to Providence and she gets herself parked, as she usually does, she takes a long walk, the prettier parts of the city, down from the university to Wickenden Street. And once she's walked by enough twinkling restaurant lights and closed shops and things to see, she pulls her phone out again and sends off a text. Hi, Sadie. It's Nat. I know it's been a while. There's been some shit going down. I haven't really been sure what to do. I think maybe you might be able to give some insight.
Almost before you are finished pressing send, there is a response. Hi, Nat, would love to catch up. All one word, no spaces. Sent to your phone almost faster than thought.
And when that pops up on Nat's phone, she's got the contact listed as...
It comes in as unknown number.
It comes in as unknown number. Oh, okay.
You had it listed?
I would have had it listed,
and
but...
as soon as it... You notice as soon as it responds, that listing is changed to unknown number.
Okay. Nat raises an eyebrow, but she takes a steadying breath and looks at her phone, deciding whether or not she's going to follow that up. It takes a few seconds more, and then she sends, I'll check in.
There isn't a reply this time, but you can't help but notice that some of the security cameras in the storefronts watch you as you walk.
And there'll be plenty more opportunity for technology to glimmer in the night, because Nat will be spending the time until she sleeps catching up on work, catching up on emails at a computer.
John, after everything that just happened, you drop people off. Parts of a larger picture forming in your head, but a lot of it still may be out of reach. Where does John go?
John is going to go back to the house he purchased and is working on in Mattapoisett. On the way there, he scopes out a couple locations from a pretty decent distance away from the house, starts making a trail of tag signs, tagging visible locations with hunter symbols, specifically back to the using the meeting
place,
to lead them from the location I'll send them to where my house is, because we're not done yet. And once I get there, I check around perimeter real quick to make sure nobody's tripped any of the very simple things that I have. And then I go inside and look at the board that I've been putting together since we started doing this. Cork board with printouts and stuff like that. Not much of a photographer, so a lot of it's just random newspaper clippings or copies of
articles
copies
about, missing fishermen,
right,
and research about Hallahan and EPA reports from about Endron and all that.
So inside this now kind of bare bones inside of a house, missing most of the drywall in the interior, he lays down his weapons and his hat and looks at the board, looks at the jug that he's got, duct tapes that shit shut.
Yeah.
The jug full of the squid things.
Puts that in the refrigerator,
with a do not drink and then starts rearranging the board with the new information that we've got that day, planning essentially the meeting that he's got to have with the rest of them to see if we're moving on from here or if John's just going to be observing the situation as best he can.
Eventually, like everyone else, you also fall into a fitful sleep. Todd, you pull the rental car that you got from your insurance company until you can replace the car that was destroyed in the crash up to the spot where John told everyone the meeting place would be. School was long, mostly because none of the kids are fucking paying attention because it's the last week of school and none of them care at this point. The only standouts are that Teddy doesn't come to school.
If that's the case, during that time, Todd will occasionally walk Rufus by and kind of just keep eyes on the property in case something weird's going on while he tries to figure out how he's going to save that kid.
As you arrive at the meeting place, it is an empty corner lot. And for a second, it's almost like this is not the right spot until you notice the hunter symbol for meeting place and a loosely spray painted on the side of a telephone pole. And then a little further on a stop sign. And you have to walk a few blocks, maybe a quarter mile, until you get to a house on the shore. And written in Sharpie on one of the little fence posts is that same symbol. And you know that this is the place.
Todd will make his way to the door and raise a hand like he'll knock, but sort of stops there for a while, sort of deciding whether or not he's going to go through with this. But ultimately, there is a knock at the door.
Here's some movement, and John opens the door. Good to see you.
Hey, what's up?
Welcome to my beach house.
Nice and, nice. It's
Thank
nice.
you. Come on in.
Yeah, sure. Todd will follow him in.
So I bring him in, probably the interior, which, as stated before, is mostly missing the drywall on the inside. So you can see through, but there are tarps in places that kind of separate some rooms out.
Almost everything is down to the studs. The furniture in here is
Foldable furniture
bare
for
bones
the
at best.
Pheia did bring, as promised, a stack of Afghans that are hand crocheted.
The other three are inside, either standing nearby or...
Dallas is actually seated and passed out in one of the little, camp chairs that's been set up under a pile of Afghans.
Yeah, and the other major feature as you move to the center of the house is a cork board with a number of pictures and articles and everything else like that, which definitely seem to be the things that we've been dealing with. And, various hunter tools around there, weapons, some of the kits that we might keep around, and just various things we might need.
Nat has tried on one of the Afghans and is standing by the part of the house that faces the ocean, kind of watching the waves as much as she can see them, taking in that little bit of peace while there's Dallas's kind of light snoring, probably. Whatever sleeping breaths.
Pretty quiet, but very deep asleep.
Him being knocked out like that and the sound of the waves and everything. And I guess it's a temporary moment of respite.
All right. Looks like you're all back. I don't know if we're continuing forward, but I figured we should at least debrief and see what we want to do for as our next steps. As we were somewhat tasked, somewhat brought together by Violin and I don't think we've hit the heart of what this is yet.
No, I don't think so either. But we could tell the hunter now what we've found.
We could. We definitely should. I've got some notes and stuff like that prepared. I just haven't finished because to some degree I don't necessarily have everything going on. But we did find the connection, which I didn't want to talk about there, in between Hallahan and these squid people. It seems like Gary had been working part-time for Hallahan Fishing. That was what I found in the closet. But I don't necessarily know that pursuing this squid possession is where this is taking us right now. I think it's definitely something we need to put out there, but I think it's kind of beyond us right now at this moment.
It has to be stopped.
It seems like a big part of the greater puzzle, but as much as it seems a struggle that's been going on for hundreds, thousands of years.
That's all well and good, but now it's impacting people we love.
Sure.
I get it. I don't disagree, and we'll continue working on it, but based on what she said, the thing that was pointed to us, which was Brighton Power Plant and essentially Texas Tower, seems to be not involved with this, with them.
Do we want to wake Dallas up?
Oh, right.
She'll go over and, pick up Dallas's arm and just drop it on his own lap.
Fair.
Doesn't seem to do the trick.
She will jostle him roughly.
After a little bit of poking and prodding, he kind of slowly, groggily comes to. Hey, sorry.
I get it.
Glad you got some rest.
Hey, thanks. You don't have any coffee, do you?
I have some coffee and some pizza in the kitchen and area.
All right.
What kind of pizza?
Cheese and pepperoni in 2 different types.
Different. Okay, good.
I brought you some roasted coffee beans.
Great.
They're not ground. I don't know if you have a grinder.
I'll figure it out.
Dallas goes and gets himself a cup of coffee.
Yep, Nat follows and specifically picks out the cheese pizza and balances one hand cheese pizza, other hand cup of coffee.
Todd doesn't touch anything. Do you want to start us off?
Yeah. We're still missing some stuff, but it's clear based on what I've talked with Dallas with before and some of his conversation he had that Endron is up to something really bad, possibly out the tower, but there also seems to be something happening at the power plant. The squid person we interrogated said something was going on there too. I think from here we have to decide if we're going to continue on and try to break into one of these places and see what's happening there.
When it comes to Endron, and she pauses, Nat takes a bite of pizza, kind of stalling for herself, but she chews and she swallows and she says, I reached out to a contact who would be willing to talk to us, who might have some information, has dealt with that kind of thing before, but that would be a supernatural contact, and frankly, it wouldn't be the first thing I wanted to do. But I think we're hitting a point where we're running out of ways to search for information and prepare.
Well, if anything, if you can get any information about what's happening there, it might help us decide our next step. But I'm tempted to suggest Brighton Point Power Plant. It's more accessible. With a little bit of observation and whatnot, we might be able to sneak ourselves in there. If nothing else, try to gather information or maybe disable the functionings of there without really endangering anyone outside of the power plant.
What have you got in mind for disabling the function?
I would probably need to look into that, but my general thought is explosives.
Explosives?
Well, everything we've learned has not made me feel good about that or Texas Tower. Both of them seem to be fronts for some other types of operation.
Right. Well, it's Project Deepwater's the front. I mean, obviously, Endron has got some kind of stake in it and is willing to work with it, but Project Deepwater is the human front for whatever that hive mind in the depths is.
I mean, with multiple monsters running various parts of staff at Brighton Point, It does not seem like this place is functioning on the up and up, so it makes me very doubtful that they are just producing energy or even producing it at all.
Well, obviously not.
But like I said, the destruction is kind of secondary. We really should figure out what is happening in there, but it would also help us to some degrees clear our tracks on the way out.
I mean, depending on what we find, I would be interested in if disrupting the power plant disrupts the tower.
And for that matter, if we're talking about blowing up a building, a power plant for that matter, I feel like the cops are just going to be after us for fucking terrorism at that point.
I don't say that we're blowing up the building in an action movie kind of sense. We are disabling them, most likely hitting them.
I don't care what you do with it. If you set off an explosive in a building with the purposes of causing any kind of damage, I mean, for one, you're weakening the structural integrity. That whole thing could collapse.
I think we should be prepared for that.
I'll put it to you this way, John, as far as my thoughts on that go. If you don't do enough, they repair the damage you do. If you do too much, they rebuild elsewhere. If they rebuild elsewhere, that could reset us back to zero.
This is why it's a secondary objective, because I am mostly afraid that we're going to find something extraordinarily heinous in there. And I want us to be prepared to take extraordinary moves if that's what we find.
There's something that you're thinking we're going to find there. Do you mean like a big, hive queen monster thing? Like what?
I don't know. Possibly a whole body snatching organization type thing. I don't know. The thing is, it's been pointed out a couple different times, and it was brought to our attention by Violin. And I am considering the worst case scenario. I don't necessarily know what's happening in there. It's kind of why we need to go in.
But we know that the sharks were attacking something out at the tower.
And that's where Mateo thinks that they brought his father and all of that, whatever connection that has.
Agreed.
It's just hard to access.
I just don't see how we're going to get out there and not be torn apart by the same crew that fought the sharks off.
We bring the sharks with us.
No, I don't really want to get torn apart by sharks and those guys. Count me out.
There's at least one of the sharks that would help us, but I don't know if that's enough.
We're not the goal in that case.
The problem is, no matter what we're thinking about, we really don't have enough understanding of the relationship between Brayton Point Power Station, Texas Tower 2, and how their overall strategy is working here.
Right.
Part of why I'm bringing up what I'm bringing up, I think it's time, if you guys are all right with me reaching out to that contact, to see if that's another avenue for information.
I think it might be best. We can go in there planning the worst, but if we have more information, we can do better planning.
It seems like there's not a lot of risk here. You said they're supernatural?
Well, Sadie's also my ex-girlfriend, but...
Okay, you don't have to...
They do have names.
I understand they do, but I'm starting to understand what Todd was saying. For your own safety and for your ex-girlfriend's safety, don't tell us her name. All you have to tell us is, do you trust him or not?
I trust her.
And that's good enough for me.
She's not well. She goes through a lot. It's part of why she's my ex, and it's part of what she is. So, I'll admit right off the bat that she's not the most stable person in the world, but she's good.
Does that mean that you can actually trust their information?
Yes, she's worked with me on hunts before.
Yeah, but stable. All right. Okay. I'll leave it at that.
Are we going to talk about what happened at Gary's house?
I think we should.
Yeah, it would be best.
Todd, I'm sorry I put it on you. I should have had the balls to do it myself.
I don't really want to get into it, to be honest. I'd much rather just focus on getting this done. Do you have that person's phone number? You should call them.
It takes Nat a second. She kind of lingers on Todd's expression for a while, deciding whether or not she's going to push. She decides not. She nods to the group, takes a few steps away. And she calls Sadie. Or, well, she calls the number that was most recently texted from.
Within 1 second of you pressing send, the phone answers.
Hi.
Hi. It's really good to hear from you. It's nice to hear your voice. Are you okay? Are you safe? Do you need me to come to you?
I don't need you to come to me. Things are a little difficult right now, but we're getting it handled.
I could help, right?
I'm hoping you can help, yeah. I know it's going to be a sensitive topic.
Are there other people around you right now? Can they hear me?
There's other people. You're not on speakerphone. I can put you on speakerphone if you want.
No, not new people.
Okay. So then you're just going to hear me sometimes repeating what you're saying, okay?
Okay.
That way they can help the same way that you've helped other crews, right?
Who are they? What are their names?
I'm not going to give you their names, and I prefer that you wouldn't look.
The phone hangs up. And then a second later calls back. I'm sorry, I panicked. I'm here.
I get it. They're private people. They're going through a lot.
Okay.
We're dealing with something to do with, Andron.
The breathing on the other end of the line stops.
And I'm sorry to ask this of you. I know that, when we first met, you were afraid of the dark, you were afraid of other things, but you were afraid of things like that. And I'm hoping that we could do something about that.
You don't have to speak in the past tense about the things that I'm afraid of. What do you, you shouldn't go anywhere near them. It's so much bigger. It's so much bigger than anyone knows. All the pieces, And you can hear her, as you have heard in the past, start to spiral herself up.
Hey, Sadie.
Nat.
You want to do that thing we used to do? Breathe in.
No. Oh, breathing. Yep.
Come on. Focus. 3 seconds, breathe in. 1 second, breathe out through nose. And Nat will talk her through a couple of those.
After a few cycles. So, what do you need my help with?
I need information. I need information on... I think a place to start might be the Brighton Power Station. We know that something is very wrong there.
You hear typing in the background, like on the computer.
And I'll feed her the information that we know that is relevant to the question. Run over some of the details. Check in with people as I speak. Kind of connect eyes with John or Pheia as I speak slowly.
What things do you want to know? Do you want access to their emails? Do you want to listen in on their phone sessions? Do you want schematics? Do you want the secret schematics? Do you want anything that I can cross-reference?
At that point, Nat repeats out those questions to the group.
Yeah, on the schematics and secret schematics. And probably cross-referencing the Texas Tower, too?
Yes, that'll be the next thing that I'm asking about.
Texas Tower 2 is connected to something called Project Deepwater. You hear more typing in the background. Do you want to know more about that? As far as their schematics, this is just a center. I can email somebody a layout, at least the public blueprints. But it looks like they have a secondary facility underneath, something tied to Project Arana.
Alright, send it to that old burner email I used to use, and you said Project Arana?
Aranya.
Aranya?
I can't, I'm not sure. Those project files look like they're related to kind of like what those companies did to me. Different, but that kind of thing. Like they're doing something protecting the waterways, or they were trying to. There's a big failure stamp on it. What else did you want to know? I'm sorry, I'm losing track.
Hey, you're doing really well.
You hear like a mass skittering in the background over the phone.
Mm-hmm. What does that sound mean to me?
You once thought that Sadie died. You watched her get shot directly in the head, and then her body turned into a mass of squirming, writhing cockroaches that skittered away. And then later, she came back, as if she had never been shot in the first place.
And that would have been when they were together, too.
Yes.
Like, Nat can remember what it would have looked like. The blood staining Sadie's always greasy blonde hair, the way that her dark brown eyes just faded and focus. But
when I say she turned into a horde of cockroaches, I mean she got shot in the face and immediately exploded into cockroaches. Like her body completely turned into a swarm of thousands of cockroaches, and they all scattered.
a much quicker process than what I said then.
Yeah.
But the sentiment remains. Hey, you all right?
Yeah, why?
I can hear some of the room.
I haven't cleaned in a little while. I didn't want to go out to the store to buy any cleaning supplies.
Okay. And Nat just keeps plowing through the conversation, and she goes, what are you seeing connection-wise between these places? And Project Iran.
That doesn't seem to have anything to do with Deepwater or Texas Tower 2. That seems to be Brayton Power's own thing, something connected to Andron and some other secondary subsidiaries that have to do with biomedical research or something. That's what it claims. As far as Deepwater, it's being headed by this guy named Klieg.
Yes,
he
correct.
did he already did one out by the Marianas Trench, something like that. Now he's expanding out into the Atlantic Ocean up here.
Again, this is the sort of information that Nat is repeating out to the group.
I don't see a lot of other connections, except following sort of a Klieg rabbit hole. Does the name Saunders mean anything to you?
Does the name Saunders mean anything to people here?
Yes. Saunders was the head of the Endron side of things.
There's some emails here between a Saunders and a Veronica Shears talking about how Klieg tried to get at him, but he tricked Klieg or something, and now they're sort of working at odds and they're mad at each other. A lot of backbiting and a lot of this is not a cohesive team.
And that is repeated out.
What's he trying to do up here? You said something about Mariana Trench and now trying to do it up here?
Repeated.
Yeah, I see. This the original Project Deepwater, I guess, it started a while ago, like old, like nuclear testing time, the 40s, 50s, somewhere around there. In the 70s, I don't know. It's been going on for a little while, but recently, very, very recently, it sort of opened up. It's a deepwater research site by the Marianas Trench. I see a couple other little spots, like satellite programs, down in the Caribbean, and around those satellite programs, there's higher disappearances, rates of disappearances and things like that. And this is Project Deepwater up here, I guess, is attached to Texas Tower 2 site, and it's an attempt to bring it into the Atlantic, like up into the northern Atlantic, and start spreading there, doing more, I don't know, it says research, but there's a lot between them and some organization named the EDF. I don't know a lot about them. It's some secondary thing, not related. It looks like Klieg is messing around with a couple different people, sort of just to expand his program.
EDF standing for?
I don't know.
Thank you. And she repeats the information as she has been.
It's weird. I tried to search more into EDF, and it shut everything down. Like, it won't let me look.
All right. In those schematics that you found, did you see what you would understand to be a weakness in the...
You mean like infiltration? Yeah, there's a lot of infiltration points. I could, Oh, for you. No.
Okay.
Not really. Why?
There's terrible things going down there. We gotta find something to do about it.
You were saying EDF. Are you sure it's not
EFD. It's EFD.
Okay.
Sorry. You are absolutely correct. It is EFD. EDF is a game we used to play.
Yeah. Earth Defense Force.
I'm pretty sure that's Earth Defense Force.
It is. It's 100% Earth Defense Force, not the Earth Frontier Division, which is a different thing.
Yep.
I guess the question would be, what do we have any idea what Deepwater is actually researching, or is it just a cover by saying it's researching?
Is there mention of research topics for Deepwater?
Something about exploring the furthest reaches of Earth.
Any mention of sharks in there? Or squid?
Squid, no. Sharks, yes. There's some sort of genetic project that Klieg provided. There were attacks on the original Project Deepwater, but Klieg provided some sort of underwater genetically enhanced defense creature at both from Endron and the EFD seemed pretty pleased with it. They're called sharks, that's why I could find it.
Ask about if they have any information on the whale that's gone missing.
Anything about a whale that's missing or hurt?
A whale? It's a weird thing to... You hear typing in the background.
Even maybe at the bottom of the ocean.
Well, whale populations are declining across the world, and they have been for a while. Some emails or some chatter or something about Klieg being really interested in whales.
Klieg
but those are coming from Saunders or something, like he's holding that over Klieg, but he doesn't want to let him know. There's some sort of something going on there. I don't know. It's a little hard to parse together. It's.
Your friend mentioned the EFD. I think that's in reference to the Earth Frontier Division. Maybe those words, if they're searching, maybe they can use that terminology.
Hey, can you try Earth Frontier Division?
Yeah, I'll look for that.
Thank you.
And you hear a little typing. And then you hear a little electronic alarm going off on her computer. And she goes, ah! And you hear the sound of plastic breaking.
Does it sound like that's the phone that broke?
No, you can still hear her, like she broke a computer. Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to move.
All right.
I don't know what that is. I tried looking for it, and it's like I got flagged. I don't know how much... I don't know. I'm gonna have to call you back.
Sure, keep safe.
There's a flutter and a skittering and a beep as the phone hangs up.
Nat isn't... With that end of the phone call, there's sort of a momentary loss of composure. Like, that's not really how she expected the phone call to end, and that old worry crosses her face like a muscle reflex. And there's this active decision, a practice one that she's made before, to get out of that mindset and let the phone drop to her side. She looks at the group.
Something happened?
It sounds like those words might have, flagged her computer. She's gonna have to get away from whatever consequence that brings. But she's good at that.
Okay, so note to everyone, don't search for that on your own.
Well, we'll probably want to be careful about opening the files that she sent us to, but...
Or mentioning it on HunterNet.
I think she'll be okay. If there's anything that a cockroach is good at, it's surviving, right?
She's a cockroach?
I forgot that I only told Dallas that part.
I don't even remember you telling me that part.
It's been a lot. Look, my imbuing was, at first I thought I had just met a shy girl in the library who was really, really afraid of the dark. And, I was studying, and it was easy enough to turn on the light and give her some comfort. She seemed a little off, but aren't we all? And, well, with some things that I've gone through, giving support until you can no longer give support is something that's very important to me. So I got to know her and kind of popped in more often, and she started getting a crush, and at first I was worried that she was being too dependent, and that did end up being the case, but she was telling me that she didn't think there was anyone else who would understand, and... Well, honestly, at first I thought she just meant about being gay, and that's real, that fear, especially when you don't have people, being so scared that you're going to lose someone over who you are.
Pheia gives an emphatic nod.
But it turned out that she actually meant it about being able to turn into a cockroach or an entire swarm of them, and she showed me that, and that was my imbuing, and it really ended up making things complicated.
Without going too deep, what kind of creature turns into insects?
A shifter. It's like you were asking before, categories of shifters.
A shifter, okay.
We went out for a while. At first it seemed like we could help each other, and I like who she is. But with her being what she is, it changed her. I mean, she suffers with a lot. Paranoia, delusions, things that haunted her from a terrible past being somehow put upon her. Endron maybe being involved, maybe other companies. It's something that I don't fully understand, and frankly not my part to talk about. That's hers. But it's why I thought she might be able to help, and she sent a hell of a lot of information over.
The big takeaway I got from most of that was, or most of what the information provided was, the tower out there is doing some sort of deep water research, which seems to be bad, but I don't know why it's bad. And they're doing biomedical research at Brighton Point, which definitely does not make me feel good.
No.
So the takeaway that I got is a reminder that this whole thing is happening because two evil groups are working together. And that's Endron and the Earth Frontier Division. They gave birth to this terrible thing happening at the Texas Tower called Project Deepwater. And based on my interview that I had there, and apparently these emails that are going back and forth, Klieg and Saunders do not like each other. And if we can do something, maybe we can help spark the two of them going at each other. I remember when I was imbued at Texas Tower, there was a whole group of tactical guys with ST badges. And I remember at the interview where I was at, Saunders was really upset that Klieg had gotten his own special team from, I think, given down to him from a board of directors. If Brighton Point is in fact an Endron facility, and we're going to go investigate or disrupt that facility, maybe we do so wearing black tactical gear with ST badges.
And with what she sent over, we might know where they keep that kind of thing, their supply room.
If we can maybe ignite some already existing rivalry between Klieg and Saunders and actually do some damage in the process, maybe we step back for a little bit and see what the two of them do, and hopefully just kind of, by rattling their cage, we can actually get a better idea of how we can help and undo both of them. Does that sound kind of like a plan of action?
It sounded like something. How do you want to start?
Or it sounds like a strategy. I didn't come up with any of the actual particulars. I'm just talking about like an overall, maybe this is a goal to work towards.
Going in with tactical gear and stuff like that means we're going to be going heavy to some degree.
Yeah.
Because as soon as people see us, unfortunately, movies have definitely made it apparent what these people are. So we will be tripping alarms and security will be coming for us fairly quickly. I don't think we can fake any credentials, but we can definitely look like somebody else.
I mean, my thought was we go and protest and get arrested.
I'll pass on that.
Well, what if it was just us doing the apprehension of the rest of us?
Sorry, can you expand?
A couple of us are dressed up like the strike teams. A couple of us are dressed up like protesters. That way we have a way of getting gear in. Kind of flies under the radar a little bit. And it means that the other strike team's members will be able to get us in when badges inevitably don't work.
Generally speaking, For situations like this, you want as simple of a plan as possible, and you want to avoid splitting up as much as possible. If things are going to go wrong, it's usually going to go wrong because of those two things.
And I am guessing that parts of this power plant are staffed by regular people.
Almost certainly.
I just mean that they will be in the crossfire and or the people shooting at us.
I'm not sure I like the sound of that, though.
That's what I was pointing out.
Yeah.
And ideally, it would be best for any of us to not be labeled as terrorists for the rest of our lives.
I'm not sure how unavoidable that is.
Yeah.
Depends on what they find out. It depends on how much is done. These places like this are not going to want to involve regular authorities poking in and around, depending on the level of damage done.
So what is our actual plan at this point? We're talking a lot of hypotheticals.
Should we reflect what we can back to Violin? I mean, he's the start of this.
Violin's not a plan guy.
Not in my experience, but maybe he has more vision.
You know, we could always go back to, like, the best, like, most relevant plan, which is bail. Bail?
It's a possibility, but we didn't get into this position by...
I'm sure there's diving in California I could do. Just bail?
We didn't get into this position by not doing something when presented.
Oh, I mean, it's not an unwise option to remember, but I'd like to find out what the options are for what we can do.
We could observe the place and see. I can get a bunch of information. Todd's usually the best at coming up with any of these kind of heavier tactical plans. If we're going to do something like that, I can get information and things like that.
All right. So if we want to frame their opposition, we have to go after a piece of information that only they should know. And if we want to avoid hitting a location that's going to be somewhere that's not monitored by everyday people, the more private, the better. You said that there's access to secret schematics, which means there's a secret area of this building that is going to be closed off to everyday folk. That is probably where they're going to be storing something that's relatively important. So, to your suggestion, John, you said you wanted to use explosives to dismantle something critical about that location. You had a bad feeling, so I'm willing to trust that feeling. There's most likely something that is important there if they're willing to spend that kind of money to add a whole secret area to an already secure building. Does that make sense?
Right.
So what we need to do is get access to that secret portion of the building. So we need information on security measures, and we need information, any that we can get, on security personnel. And we try to minimize interaction with security personnel to the best of our ability, get in, destroy whether this is a lab or what have you, and be gone when that happens. The idea is that if that goes down, we can prey on this already volatile relationship, where if there's anyone that's going to have that information and engage in that kind of a strike, it's going to be the guys that already have a tactical team and a reason to want to go after and cause problems for the other side. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I agree.
Jinx. Matt says, looking at Pheia.
Pheia gives like a one-sided smile.
That sounds like a plan that minimizes the chance of collateral damage and damage to us, but could actually have meaningful effects. I'm into that.
I can spend about a week or so identifying some of the security personnel and seeing if they are monsters or not. Most likely we could figure out where they live and get their credentials there and use them as our access point.
Kind of a shitty approach, but may end up being better for these people in the first place. Blackmail. Any blackmail that you can get is going to make them much more likely to be cooperative. And any kind of cooperation we can get, that is a trigger we don't have to pull.
I can start looking into it. It'll take me a little bit of time.
Sure.
but I'll be in the area anyways. Dallas, you don't have anywhere to go, right?
Not at the moment.
So
I'm in the process of losing my job, so you have me until Friday.
we can get some of you some things to keep your identity a little less apparent, especially as we're driving around, but mostly we'll just need to look at who's going in, who's going out, try to identify them, and then I can try to identify them as monsters or not.
And use some of the free time that you have to develop the skill set this is going to need. If you're not comfortable creeping around hallways, get comfortable creeping around hallways.
That's not really my specialty, as I've demonstrated. Can I get some help?
Yeah, we got some time.
John's happy to help.
We can get you guys somewhat proficient with guns so that you have them, you can choose to use them, and none of us feel in danger of that.
It's usually my... You can tell that Nat wants to say preference next, though the word forms, but she kind of swallows it. And frustration building in that choice, but she looks down. Attention at the thought of picking up a gun.
It's better to know how to use it and not use it than to have to use it and not be able to. So we can spend some time doing that, but I know some of you've got regular life to get to. We will fill you in. We can meet up in between a little bit easier.
All right, what can the rest of us do to support this?
Well, I could probably look at cobbling together some uniforms for us. I remember what the ST team looks like. I remember what their badges look like. You give me to, like, you know, a store that does, like, emergency services, uniforms and stuff. We could probably actually have some ST badges made up there.
Yeah.
And truthfully, to our benefit, they were just all black fatigues, helmets, masks, goggles. We just cover up everything.
We can go to somewhere central CT, so we're not buying any of the stuff nearby where we're possibly doing it.
All right.
We'll make a day trip of it.
I mean, how detailed were the badges? Were they metal?
Rob?
They were not metal. They were like Velcro
Like patches?
patches.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yes, they can disavow themselves.
And pretty simple, right?
Very, very simple.
They were actually just very simple cloth patches velcroed onto their gear.
Sounds like you might have people that can do that.
I am people that can do that.
Sure.
Okay. If I was an evil mastermind and someone ran a hit on my facility and wore their team patches, I would immediately start wondering if it's even them.
That's fair.
So just all black.
Just all black. Let them identify based on the equipment being used, and then let them think themselves clever for figuring it out without seeing any identifying marks.
Makes sense.
So that means we're going to spend a lot of time with you guys, if not necessarily using guns, getting you very used to them. You're going to have to look like you know what you're doing in case it comes up.
Yeah, you need to at least know how to walk and carry the weapon like you know how to use it.
Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Look, I'll be honest, it's, anathema. But I get it. I, would have preferred to never touch a weapon. That would have been something I would have liked. But there's worse things that we're going to have to do here. And that sort of ideal, it's something you don't get to hold on to. I'd really prefer not to shoot it, but...
If this plan goes according to how we're planning, we're not going to have to shoot anything.
I guess that's the other part. Planes don't really keep together. Things go bad. They go bad fast. So we need someone to actually call when we're calling it off and bailing, and we need to actually keep to that.
I think that should be you.
I don't. You guys are not going to listen to me. How about John?
Sounds good.
Why aren't we listening to you?
Because you didn't listen to me last time I asked you guys to go outside. Drag the whole thing out while I had to wrestle with the screaming woman. I'd rather not put myself through that again. Listen to John.
That is not how that went for me.
I don't care. It's not important. Just listen to John.
No, actually, it is important. I'm sorry that you wanted it to go quicker. I get that. That's important. And I get that what I was saying took time. I wish that you would have let me just say it so that I could have gotten out, or done a better job saying what you wanted, apart from just leave. But this whole thing together is establishing trust.
We were being monitored by an ancient force. I was not going to have a long conversation, especially while wrestling a screaming woman.
Doesn't have to be a long conversation.
Jesus fucking Christ. I know it doesn't have to. That's why I had made it a simple request. You just didn't honor it. And that was after we had all agreed that when someone who was actually close to this person called for it to be done and move forward, and they're the one that calls the shot. When they called it, we didn't do what was agreed upon. We dragged it out. And I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to waste my time listening to you justify it. I don't want to sit here and wax poetic about how upsetting the situation was. I just want to get this fucking done. Am I being unreasonable? Is that a not fair ask? I may have to kill people again for this fucking problem. I can't just ask to do it in quiet.
Yeah, actually, that is a problem.
Well, that's your problem, guy.
No. We're supposed to be a team in this. And you're acting all sad and bothered by the fact that you have to drag us along like you're babysitting. You're not. And if you're going to keep acting like this, you can just get the fuck out.
I'm perfectly fine getting the fuck out.
All right.
I find that totally acceptable. We can agree to that right fucking now.
I'd rather we not agree on that.
Nah, I think it's for the best. If he's gonna act like this, I think you can just leave this team.
If we gotta potentially kill people, I don't want to accidentally hurt people's feelings too. John, I'll fucking see you later, buddy. Good luck.
Can you hold for a minute so I can say my piece, please?
I'll wait a minute.
Okay. You can start a timer if you want. So, here's the thing. We're all here to do a job. We all have different skill sets, and we all need to honor when those skill sets are being called into play, and the person making the play needs to be the one listened to. I knew it was time for Katie to go. I think John and Todd knew it was time for Katie to go. And maybe I should have been clearer about the fact that it was time. This was not a redeemable person. And no amount of talking was going to change that. And I wanted her to go while she was a monster. So that one, Todd wasn't killing an innocent person. And so that two, we were actually hurting a monster. And if we can't agree that we are here to take the fight to monsters and to do our best to not let innocent people suffer in this. And maybe that means we have to take a back seat on what we feel like needs to be done in honor of what someone else has decided needs to happen. The person we've decided is making the call. Then we need to work on that. But we can't work on that if we're walking away from one another. We fucked up. It didn't go right.
I thought I was respecting Pheia's call. Sounds like by me trying to say goodbye, that made it harder for you.
She wasn't your friend.
I thought it would give you peace. That's why I was doing what I was doing. I thought if she had something left, that it could give you something to move forward from.
I wasn't even in the room anymore.
I get that.
It's the idea of killing something hurts. The idea of killing someone with family and people who love them hurts. The idea that they're still a monster when it happens makes it easier.
We've made some mistakes here, and part of it is that we don't know each other very well. We're also still learning to listen to each other, and it is difficult, especially with the hunts to change and everything else like that. As Todd says, if we go in again, we agree to listen to whoever we that's in charge. And if that means they make a call that you don't agree with, yell at them later. At that time and place, we need to listen, especially if we're going into possibly one of the most dangerous situations that I can think of in recent times. And I've done a few of these. Partially because there are regular people involved in this, which means we can't just go in and demolish the place. It's precision and it's trust between all of us. And I don't want to go in without Todd. Todd has always had my back.
I'm glad to hear that he's always had your back, but I'm sick and tired of him being a petulant little bitch right now.
I don't think that's a helpful way of phrasing that.
Yeah, and nothing he's said so far at this point has been helpful either, and I'm calling him out on it. This is my first hunt, man.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah. So fucking help me learn, all right? Be a teacher, goddammit. You've done a bunch of these, haven't you?
Am I babysitting or not?
There's a big difference between teaching and babysitting, asshole.
I'm not here to be your teacher. But John is. So just listen to John.
I can get you up there. And we can talk about some of this stuff later, but let's not keep poking each other. I understand that we're grading each other, and part of it is the situations we've had to go through. It is not each other to some degrees. This sucks.
Fair enough. And I'm sorry things went the way they did with your friend.
The problem with being a mercy creed is more often than not you're going to lose people you care about. And I'm prepared for that, but it's going to suck every time. But I need to know that I can make the call and have it respected when I see that it's time to let them go. And I think all of us want that. And that includes having the mercy creeds honored when we're making the call too.
Agreed.
I overextended. That's what it sounds like. I thought it would be quick. I had good intentions. It hurt people. I'm sorry.
Dallas, I don't know if anyone ever really checked in on you after what happened with Briggs.
I'm fine.
I don't believe you, but I'll take it for what it is for now.
I like that.
Unfortunately, there'll be time to process some of the stuff later.
No, there won't.
Let's hope there is, okay? I'd like there not to be one crisis after another.
We're going to keep cattywampusing from one lily pad disaster to another like a bunch of fucked up frogs. I don't know if those are a thing or not, but let's assume they are. And we're going to just keep going as long as we have each other, and we're going to fight like some fucked up family of fucked up frogs.
All right, let's not go that far, all right? We're going to be a team. Let's leave it at that.
You know humans pack bond with everything, right?
Pheia, we're going to be a team. Let's leave it at that.
The hunt is a hard
I'll take that for now.
There we go.
The hunt is a hard thing to get through. It changes people. People handle it in different ways. Trying to handle it is overwhelming. You never know exactly what will help people, what will push people through, and what will push people away. The best thing that we have for it is trying to be there for each other and trying to understand each other. It's not always going to work.
So that being said, Todd, I know you're not... Sorry. Fucked it up already. Maverick, I know you're not okay, but are you okay? And is there anything I can do?
Living the dream.
The horrors persist, but so do you.
I think we have outlines of plan. We'll start putting it together.
So going back to what sparked this whole thing off, you think John should be calling the shots on this?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I don't disagree with that.
Sure.
John, are you ready to call the shots on this thing?
I am ready to do so. I really don't want to go in there, but it needs to be done. And I can't learn anything from the outside. So...
Okay. So from this point forward, you're going to be team lead on whatever the fuck we're doing with Brayton Point. We have kind of an outline, and in the next week or so, we'll get some info, we'll get some disguises, we'll do some training so that we actually look like a team when we're operating together. And then as we get closer, we'll actually pick a date.
Yep. We'll try to take one that works with the schedules there and hopefully not interfere too much with people's regular lives. I know it's important, so we'll see what we can do to manage that.
While I'm at work, I can kind of keep an eye on whether the squid problem is spreading.
I think I can probably help you with those documents.
All right.
Are you good with teaching me and Nat sneaking and pew-pewing?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can take a few of you out and do a pretty intensive course on the things that I know. I'm not military trained or anything, but I can get us by. I can make us at least comfortable with guns.
I mean, I used to fire the cannon at work, but that's as close as I've ever come to a gun, and they're not eminently transportable.
Yeah, we're not using a cannon.
Don't rule it out entirely.
Great. So yeah, I don't have anything else for the rest of the day, so let's get to it.
Path of Night, Brine and Blood is an actual play Hunter the Reckoning podcast set in the world of darkness. Dallas McCoppin was played by Garrett Gabbey. John Spencer was played by Tim Davis. Pheia Quinn was played by Erika Webb. Nat Chowdhurani was played by Rebecca Steigelfest. Todd Keating was played by Lex Lopez. Your storyteller was Rob Muirhead. This episode edited by Rob Muirhead. The theme music used in this episode was Sadness Room by Dennis Goncharov. Find their music online at pixabay.com. Character art by Jay Steele. Find more of their work at Steele Art on Bluesky. Brine and Blood uses the revised edition of Hunter the Reckoning with few limited house rules. Hunter the Reckoning and the World of Darkness are owned by Paradox Interactive. Make sure to subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you find your podcasts. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/pathofnight. You can help support the show at ko-fi.com/pathofnight. And you can find us at Path of Night Podcast on Bluesky, Twitter, and Facebook, or email us at pathofnightpodcast@gmail.com. Take back the night, hunters.
Also, sorry, I know I specifically was like, what NPCs would be good, and then jumped to with Andrea, but...
That's fine. I didn't want that to come across as me being dismissive of you calling her. She's just not in a good place.
All good, all good. That was specifically me apologizing for not bringing that up.
Oh, I don't care. We already practiced a lady voice, and let's be honest about my voice acting ability. I've got one lady voice.
I'd give you like 2.
I feel like that's generous, but thank you.
If you throw an accent on any of your 2 lady voices, you just exponentially grow your lady voice.
I've done it a few times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah?
It was, I mean, Ms. Shears had a little bit of a fucking bass accent.
Why are you pretending something's wrong?
Actually, yeah, no, that's not fair at all. You've got plenty of accent lady voices.
That's fair. We need to bring in more Russian spies and stuff so I can actually do fucking...
Well, that's you, Rob. That's your responsibility. Yeah, if you want more Russian lady spies...
You have 3 baseline women, at least. You have, like, younger, exasperated. You have, like, older, like, very, like, business-like. And then you've also got,
Femme fatale.
No, I was going to say, yokel, fucking diner employee.
But also femme fatale.
Like grandma who makes pies and maybe works at a diner.
Yep.
That's fair.
There she is. There's our lady.